12 fugitives left behind their everyday lives in a quest for £100,000 in the UK's biggest game of hide and seek.
Whilst the hunt may be over for now, there's still stories to be told as we open up the interrogation room to some of our fugitives.
How did they stay hidden? How did they cope with the mental battle as they were being chased by a team of expert hunters?
Unit standby. Active message.
If you see them, take them out.
I mean, he looks like an absolute bellend.
What kind of car will you be driving?
A Mercedes S-Class.
I mean, this is on a plate.
Thanks again, Tony. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for all of that, Tony. That was most helpful.
Yeah, I've actually got a lot of anxiety. I'm actually scared they're going to come here now.
Crucially, Kirsty and Bex want you into that Nando.
Fuck's sake. I can't figure it out how you found us.
Because we're sharper, mate. We're sharper.
I gave you a good one. Did you enjoy the show, darling?
Can I just say, no. You were just 21 seconds too slow.
Oh, wow.
Storm the Nando's. Storm the Nando's. Storm the Nando's.
No, we are now approaching the southern tip of Inchmurray. We've got eyes on the full island of it.
Just stand by, we have eyes in the sky.
You must have so many splinters in your ass. Get off the fence and pick.
They haven't got a Scooby that he's one of us.
Cheeky fucking bastard.
Dipshits.
Get hold of him!
Bobby! Bobby Seagull.
We said that we wanted a clean sweep from day one. The work that you have done in this room is absolutely outstanding. We've set the standard now. No one is ever going to get to extraction, right? Yes! We've worked our socks off for the past 2 weeks for the clean sweep. Game on, bring on next year.
My name's Craig.
And I'm Nat. We're a couple who are obsessed with Channel 4's Hunted.
So much so we started a podcast all about it on a mission to answer those unanswered questions.
Like, do the UK government need to spend more on teacher training, especially for geography teachers?
Like, even I know that Islington and Scunthorpe aren't even the same postcode. Also, at what age does it become inappropriate to go on the swings saying, "Push me, mummy, push me"?
Never. What is the best fugitive snack? A packet of Quavers? Some custard creams? Or an ice lolly?
All three. Also, how on earth did Sade drag herself up that hill?
Let's find out as we welcome Sade and Cameron
to the Hunted Podcast.
Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
Hello and welcome back to the Hunted Podcast. It's a first for us here on the Hunted Podcast as we capture ourselves a couple of fugitives, but for some reason we decided to bring them back to Hunted Pod HQ.
Yeah, we did.
It's a very, very crazy thing that we've done. It's been a whirlwind since Sunday when the show absolutely finished. You'll be hearing this a week on from the show, but for us it's a couple of days. In a couple of sentences, tell us how you're feeling about what we've got coming up in the next hour.
Oh, I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's one sentence.
It's one sentence. That's all you get him.
That's all right. Fair enough. I'll let you have that. I'll tell you what, give me another sentence then. If people enjoy listening to this and want to get in touch and ask questions about future fugitives or any other member of the Hunted Party, what do they need to do?
They need to go to Twitter at HuntedPod, Instagram at HuntedPod, Facebook HuntedPod, email huntedpod@outlook.com, or send voice notes or WhatsApp messages to 07907 038 211.
Right, shall we introduce our guests then, shall we? Now we've cracked open the biscuits and had a coffee and had a chat before we started recording. Shall we introduce our guests?
Go on then.
It's only the 8th person to get captured in Series 7 and 1/3 of the winner's circle. It's Cameron and Sade! Welcome to the Hunted Podcast HQ. It's great to have you both with us. Sade, I'm going to start off with you to start off with, obviously because you got on the plane, you got your hands on the cash. 2 years you had to wait until you could scream, "I won the bloody show!" How are you feeling now?
Completely overwhelmed. I think, like you said,
been 2 years since we actually filmed it, knowing what I actually had to endure that final day. It's been fantastic. And actually the response has been phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. People kind of just reaching out and kind of empathising with the pain that I went through really on that mountain. But yeah, feeling fabulous.
Cameron, what about yourself? Because, you know, you watched your mum go through the journey, you went on it with her, you obviously got captured and left her behind. Did you know that she'd won, or did you have to sit tight and wait 2 years and just have Mumsy going, well, you'll have to wait and see, won't you?
From the second Mel put his hand on my shoulder and was like, your time on the run's over, I knew for a fact my mum had it, and just seeing her the next day when she got home and her being like, I did it. It was just more confirmation, but I knew straight away that she was going to win. From the second we separated, I knew she was going to win. I wasn't sure how, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I was certain, there was not a doubt in my mind that she wasn't taking it.
It's been an absolute whirlwind for the both of you, I imagine, over the last 48 hours or so. I imagine, Sade, your inbox in particular has been absolutely blowing up. We saw you sort of do a little bit of a reel the other day. I think it's going to take you another 2 years to reply to everyone, isn't it?
Genuinely, I mean, I couldn't believe it. I think you hear about people that have quite a lot of interaction on social media. I'm not really a social media person. I'm a bit crap at it, really, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's been insane. I'm slowly working my way through every single platform and trying to respond to absolutely everyone, because obviously they have taken the time and I do want to be able to respond. But yeah, it's taken a minute. So if it does take another year, then, you know, please forgive. Please.
I'm sure people will, because, you know, it's probably taken you 2 years to get over that absolute hike of a mountain, hasn't it?
No, I'm still traumatised right now.
I was crying when we were watching the episode. She was full on crying.
I did,
like,
yeah, because it just
sent you
brought
back
it all
to a dark place.
It did. It was traumatic. It did.
It was really, really great to watch both of your stories and your relationship sort of develop over the course. We'll delve into all of that as we go throughout your story and things like that over the next sort of hour or so here on the Hunted podcast. And I guess that the first place to start is probably not the beginning, is it? I think we should find out a little bit more about being Hunted superfans. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more then. Obviously, you know, Hunter's been on TV. It's coming up to the 10-year anniversary next year, next, I think, September time. Have you watched it from the start, or were you like us and did you sort of just pick it up randomly from Gogglebox and then just binge it and get addicted?
That's insane saying it's 10 years, because I was 11 watching it. But,
well, you know, I was just preparing you. I was just grooming you ready for when it was time to go on.
But yeah, from the first series, it's just been the show that both of us watch and both of us enjoy watching. Every series we would sit down in the living room and watch it, or sometimes we wouldn't know it was on and just binge all 6 episodes. So yeah, it's weird to now be like getting messages from people that have been on the show, and it's like, I've actually watched you. This is weird. It's weird. It's odd.
I mean, we, like you say, we've watched every show. We are fans of the show. Yeah. We loved every element of it, though. From the Hunters, we loved just the kind of repertoire between the Hunted HQ and the Fugitives, just the whole show. We absolutely loved. So for us, when Cameron was prime and he was old enough to go on it, I was like, let's do it.
We did always say, though, when I turn 18,
Correct.
We're going to apply for the show. When I turn 18, we're going to apply for the show. And I don't think we saw the applications when I was 18.
No. So it's funny that, actually, it's a very good point, because I don't recall ever seeing an application or the advert coming up to say to apply. But it was that celebrity one, and it was the one...
Whitehead.
Correct.
The one with Richard Whitehead.
That was the one.
Fellow Knots man.
Fellow Knots. That's it. It was that one. And it came up on the screen, and we just finished watching it, and it was all finished. And
I went to bed. Let's tell the story correctly.
Right.
I went to bed after. I was like, Mum, I've got work in the morning. So I went to bed, and then like 30 minutes later, I've heard a knock on my door, and I'm in the attic room, so you've got to go up some steps, and said, Cam. And I was like, I've got to be up early, so I pretended to be asleep. And she's like, Cam. And then the next day I've seen her, I'm like, Mum, why did you come into my room? And she's like, I applied this for Hunted. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I've applied this for Hunted. And I was like, I don't think we're gonna. Cause that's so cliche to say. I hate saying that because on any TV show, everyone's like, "Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna get on," but generally, I didn't think we were gonna get on. When you get told how many people apply, you don't think there's a possibility that us two would be able to get on it.
But we did.
But yeah, we did it and smashed it.
What a story as well to sort of go. I've watched it from day one to now want to go on it because when we sort of started binging it, didn't we? We were like, what would we do? Because that's sort of how this started, isn't it?
Yeah, we would walk around Tesco and taking
other shops are available
and taking the dog for a walk. We'd be like, oh, you could hide there. Oh, we could hide there. Oh, this would be a good place. But I don't think we'd ever be any good.
No, and definitely we couldn't do it now because we've sort of definitely said over however many podcasts we've done now the sort of things we do.
Yeah.
So we sort of can't in the end. Was there anybody that you sort of had in mind? Because I'm just trying to think. It was 2022 when you ran, so I'm not entirely sure Kibble's series would have aired unless it had just aired.
Yeah. So what's so funny is we were in the hotel the night before we actually got let loose, and the final of Sarah Kibble's.
So we watched the final in the hotel before going on the run.
Yeah, so that kind of gave us a boost of like, oh my days, this is what we're putting ourselves through, and this is potentially, well, we actually did it. That
we're going to win.
To us, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it kind of gave us like the push for it of like, oh my days, like this is actually happening. But then it wasn't until we're actually thrust. Oh, thrust.
I think that was the wrong word, son. Thrust would be the correct word. Yeah.
Thrust. I'm not avoiding these dumb allegations.
Absolutely, just walking straight into it, son.
I'm going to tell you this for free. It's not being edited out.
We were thrust, guys. Thrust.
You
Yeah.
tell me that all the time. The stuff I say isn't being edited out.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's okay. I've seen myself watch so much dumb stuff now, or dumb stuff that I've said.
It's nice
that
for you to see it back, because obviously this is why I've witnessed throughout your whole life. Yeah.
It's brilliant. So obviously you'd not seen Series 6 to a massive scale to sort of go, like everybody else that we speak to on this podcast, that like Sarah Kibble's the ultimate like hero and person you aspire to be. So who was it for you? Cameron, I'll start with you.
That's hard. That's actually a hard question. Because I don't think I ever looked at anyone was like, okay, I want to play the game like that or do it like that. I think I just looked at little bits they did and was just like, oh, that would be, because I never in my mind did I think we would actually be on the show. So I wouldn't be like, okay, well, this would be me. This is what I would like. So it's kind of just like I would watch and critique how other people would do it. But I don't think there was anyone that fully... Tell a lie. I forgot what series it was. She went on with her best friend. And this moment sticks out to me a lot. She went on with her best friend and they split up at some point. And I think she had a child. And there was just this one scene where she's like swapped coat jackets with like a homeless man. I forgot her name, but that scene sticks out to me too a lot because I was like, oh, she was actually grafting for it. I forgot the name, but she killed it that series.
It's either Emily or Lauren and it's the first series.
Oh, the first series.
Yeah,
that sticks out to me.
Kept ringing home, didn't she?
Yes.
And they got really angry in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, they killed it. They killed that. I remember that scene. That sticks out to me. So that was one person I was like, oh, you're actually
I think it's Emily.
It was Emily.
Emily keeps phoning home, and it's possibly Lauren who swaps coats.
It was Lauren. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes on a bit of a daft train journey or something. And it's only sort of fresh in my mind because we did Revisited last year, didn't we? But I don't know whether we're going to go Series 2 or Celeb yet. Still got to figure that out. Anyway, so what about you, Sade? So obviously, Cam sort of said an OG from Series 1. What about you? Who was the person that you looked at and thought, yeah, that's either what I'm going to do or the complete opposite and go, yeah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't have one. I don't think that I've ever watched it and thought, yeah, I'm going to do it like that. I've absolutely had admiration and been like, that was fantastic. That was brilliant. Can see why they won that. But I don't think I've ever thought, right, that's the person that I'm going to try and kind of emulate or do. I just, I don't know. I just kind of knew that if we got on it, that we was going to do something fantastic. That's the long and short of it.
And to be fair, you weren't wrong at all, were you?
We
weren't wrong at all.
We were.
Let's go back to the very, very start then. Obviously, you've auditioned, you've put your application in. We can't obviously share too much about what the application process is, but how long a process was it between you knocking on Cam's door at stupid o'clock in the morning going, I've applied, to getting a ping in your emails going, next stage of application. So what was the process like for you on that front?
I mean, it's such a blur because it was so long ago, but I'm thinking we applied in February. Yeah, it was February 2022. That's when we applied. It was early February because, like I say, it was the end of the Celebrity show. So it was early February, we applied. And then I believe we actually got a bit harassed because we didn't do our 3-minute video. If you remember, we didn't do our 3-minute video, and the closing date was the 28th of Feb. I do remember that. And we got a final message on the 28th in the morning saying, if you do not do your 3-minute video, your application will be thrown in the bin. So I phoned you and I was like, right, Cam, do you want to do this? And he was like, yeah. And I said, tell you what then, as soon as you come home tonight, we'll do the 3-minute video. We're doing one take and we're sending whatever comes out. Yeah. And we literally did that. We sat down, did the one take, sent it off, and then I believe it was probably February, March, a month after that, we was invited to London for the second stage, and then the rest.
No, because even after we sent off our application, we had to do a phone call.
We did. Oh, we did. You're right. Yeah.
And that was scared me, to be fair.
Did it?
Yeah, because I remember you called me, and again, you were like, Cam, and I was like, Mum, I'm at work.
No, what you actually said was, why are you breathing like that?
Do you know what? I skipped that part out because I wasn't trying to embarrass you. But yeah, you were like, let me do it properly then. Mum was like, Cam, and I was like, Mum, why are you breathing like that? Yeah, okay, that's what I said. And she was like, oh, Hunter just called me. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Hunter just called me. So I was like, Mum, I'm just stood at the front at work right now. If you give me 2 seconds, I'll call you back on my break. So I've called her back and I was like, okay, so I've got my diary out. Okay, what questions did they ask you? This and that. Got everything written down. They asked me completely different questions. And I was like, oh, I didn't prepare for this.
Crazy. So seems like quite a quick turnaround then from applying to then sort of going to, I think it was June 2022 when it was filmed.
June the 8th. Yeah, it's when we got released.
Yeah.
What a date. Well, I mean,
it was sticking in our heads forever, I think.
Yeah,
ingrained in your memories for sure.
It was traumatising, wasn't it, really?
Oh.
Well, not to get counsellors more work, but we are going to delve into that, and we are going to pick at that, because a couple of weeks ago we went and went to Piccadilly Circus.
We did.
We were trying for ages, weren't we, to actually find where it was, because I think it was only like 2 weeks after that or like a week after it first aired that we went to.
Yeah, 1 or 2 weeks after we went to London, a pre-arranged trip to London that just happened to be happening. But yeah, we took ourselves to Piccadilly Circus, and obviously June 2022, we were still like the end of COVID, so I guess London wasn't as busy. But whilst we were there, it was Easter weekend, but it was mental.
What time did you, and what day? Did you go on a weekend?
We were there on a Saturday.
Yeah, it was early Saturday. I'm going to say like 10 a.m-ish.
10, half 10. But it was busy, like already. And it took us forever to find the right set of stairs.
Like multiple steps of stairs, like facing each other.
All round, but then they're all like next to each other whilst you're in the underground. So us trying to find it, and like we kept walking down tunnels, and I was like, no, this doesn't look right. No,
there's a bend there. There's a bend in it. It bends
this doesn't look right. There should be a bend. And then we ended up just going up a set of stairs and then eventually finding the right one. But like, obviously we've never had an underground before. So when you were taken there, I guess, was it a surprise that you were gonna...
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know where the location was, and you don't find out, obviously, until the point. But when we did, I think, again, we probably, if you think back to last season where they were having to escape on a boat because they were on an island, in my mind, I was like, this is we were quite pleased. Like, okay, this is fine, because you don't know. And funnily enough, actually, when we got in the taxi to head to the location, you said, Mum, we're in London. It's going to be in London.
Because we don't know, so it's just speculation, because we got told... last series they got put in a hotel and then had to go all the way to Scotland the next day. So obviously they're like, you just don't know what's going to happen.
So we were pretty pleased.
My mind was pinging, and then obviously we get in the taxi, and the first thing I do is look at his maps on his phone. I was like, Mum, we're in London. I was like, okay, let me just start planning now. I was like, Mum, we're in London. The closer we get, I'm like, I don't know this part of
I mean, I don't want to pull this up this early, 16 minutes in, but your version of London could also be Scunthorpe. So
it's a valid point. Chris, we can't dispute it. It's a valid point. It could be. You're right.
My geography's never been the best, and yours hasn't.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to throw you out there and leave you to drown, because we're both a bit appalling. And fortunately for us, they didn't show it that much throughout, but we were ridiculous. We were at one point, I think it was in Peterborough, and we walked around the same estate.
That is close to Scunthorpe, by the way.
That is close. We walked around this estate about 6 times, and then in the end we were like, I think it was maybe the frustration on our camera crew's faces, because they were obviously, they can't stop you or direct you or tell you where to go, but you could see they were getting a bit pissed off, weren't they? Like, if you make us walk round this estate one more time, and we didn't have a clue. Same estate, going round and round. Yeah. We there was some quite hilarious moments. I think when we first escaped from London on the extraction day, we were trying to get to Leicester, so that's where we first got to. So we hitchhiked all the way from London to Leicester, and then our auntie lives in Peat na Magna, tiny little village in Leicester, and we got out of the van in Leicestershire, and then the man said to us, "Oh, you're probably about," I can't remember how many miles it was.
Probably like, let's say 30,
5 miles. It wasn't. It was something like maybe 10, I can't remember, 5 to 10 miles, and we was like, we can walk that. And then start to realise how long it takes to walk.
So we're like, okay, so if 5 miles, if you times that by 2, take away 3,
square that by 10. No.
It's like, what, 5 minutes? A 5-minute walk. So we started walking down the road and we're like, this isn't a 5-minute walk at all.
We were ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Oh dear. I mean, that was the whole Scunthorpe Islington thing was one of my highlights, to be fair, as was the... is it left or was it? Is it right? Is it left or yeah? That was
what she said.
Yeah, and the ironic thing is, I heard her, so I knew exactly what she said. But I was trying to be that supportive mother that's letting him lead, and that's why I said, "Are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah." She said, "Left." All right. I thought this.
It was the point that the "or" was added, like left.
All right.
There was no other directions you could go.
And not only that, but he said, come outside of the pub and turn right. And he's come outside the road. It was just every instruction he got completely wrong. I was like, right, okay. I think I did go back in the end and just confirm.
I think so,
yeah.
Sorry about my son, but can you just like he's messing my head this much, can you just give me those directions again, please? Be a lifesaver. Bless you.
Thinking about to forget, like,
I don't know,
that quick.
Quavers, Icelanders,
probably. Honestly, possibly. Yeah, Park. Sorry, I was thinking like, oh, where's the closest swing? And then just like,
got that right.
Oh dear. Let's go back a step then. Let's go back to the Eros statue, because we were just talking about that, and when we went, it was ridiculously busy and things like that. Obviously, like Nat said, it was sort of the back end of COVID, so you could get why it's a little bit quieter, but on the footage it seemed like absolutely no one was there at all.
Well, it was like a Wednesday and it was like 10 in the morning, so I don't know if people were like at work or...
I mean, there were definitely people there.
Oh yeah, there were people there.
There were definitely people
when
there.
We got to Leicester Square, there was a lot more people. Still was a bit quiet, to be fair, thinking of London.
It was quiet because obviously the period of time it was, but there were definitely people there, because I recall when you ran off from me in the first instance about 4 million miles per hour. There was a crowd. All I couldn't see, Cameron. All I could see was just a crowd of people, and I was just running through this crowd like, move! But it wasn't as busy it would normally, but there were definitely people there.
I think for us it's one of the, like, both the launch and the extraction have been like proper up there, haven't they?
Like, we obviously, this was filmed before we started watching, but the entire time we've been doing this, I've repeatedly said, I want to see the underground or a train, because it's so different. And then for it to be there, and I just think the way that it was shown was just so good.
I just like the whole analogy of literally coming from the underground to go out on the run.
Such a
we all
brilliant
had our
idea.
different routes as well, and they're all connected. I didn't know it all connected like that, to be fair.
It's brilliant.
It's sick. It was sick.
Yeah. When you were... Because obviously you see shots at the very start in episode 1 of some of the fugitives board in different tubes, and you see Sweetie Smiley Steve putting the dots together and going, right, they're all heading for Piccadilly Circus. Were there any other fugitives on your tube? Were you looking around to see if you could spot any?
We literally all come from different routes.
Yeah,
so
all different routes,
we met up at Piccadilly.
And when you were there, when you were at Piccadilly, and then you sort of started clocking people, was there chance for a conversation, or were you literally like pretty much straight in the game?
No, there was a stop period where we were kind of at Piccadilly, the underground, so that's where we kind of waited, and then I heard Beth. We weren't allowed to talk to each other throughout the whole process.
Much ice. It was like you can't speak to other fugitives.
But we always talk about this, don't we? And it's something I think that will live in our heads for the rest of our lives, because we'll never be able to replicate the feeling that we got. And I think it was Beth and Steve on their podcast where they spoke about that fear. It was quite ironic because, like I say, if we could recreate that and you could feel it, it's just something. It's just insane. We were under there, and then we just heard the helicopters.
Yeah.
And it was ironic because we were all kind of talking amongst ourselves, like with our couples, and we're like, chatting away, and the spirits are high, we're all excited.
You don't actually realise what you're getting yourself into until you hear that
and
helicopter.
then you heard those helicopters, and it was like, and then you just heard this kind of deathly silence, and then it was like action, and the fear is what I mean.
Yeah, I had to hold my mum's hand. I was
we were
like,
terrified.
I was like, Mum, I can't. I don't know. Like, are we sure we want to do this? Like, are we sure we want to do that? It got real very quickly. But that's why I sped off from my mum, because I missed about 5 steps as I was going up the stairs, because I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here.
I don't believe you ran that fast even in any of your championship races.
Probably not. No.
You went off. Yeah.
Did you? Cause you obviously talking about like Cameron speeding off. Did you sort of have half a plan in mind of what you'd do if he literally sped off that fast that you completely lost him? Because London is a massive, massive city, and whenever we go, we're literally clinging on to each other for dear lives. We actually do have a strategic plan for if one of us gets off the tube and then the doors slam shut, and then we end up at a different stop.
You get off at the next stop.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
Wait.
I think there was a bit where I suppose this is where the camera crew comes into play at this point, because our camera person, lovely Sam, he wasn't as fast as Cam. So if I kept hold of Sam, I'd have been able to keep holding. And that was the key. If I can see Sam, then Cameron's not. Cameron's going to be a little bit further along. And there was a period when Cameron got out at the top of the stairs, and Cam's kind of shot round the corner. And as I got to the top, I just want this on record, guys, because the hunters very much made out that I was very slow. I got out of those steps faster than all the rest of the fugitives, and actually was the second one out of this. So it's not that I'm slow, it's that he's very fast. Just on record, thank you. But yeah, once he got out of there, by the time I got to the top of the stairs, he was gone off that street and he'd turned the corner. By the time I got round the corner, he was stopped there waiting for me. He was like, come on, Mum! They're up there, the helicopters! And I was like...
Oh, brilliant. Love it.
Obviously, you've got up out of the underground. You've eventually found each other again.
Don't know how.
I don't know how, but you found each other. And obviously, you had no idea that you were going to be in London. Did you then start to think, how are we going to get out of here?
We kept on running, didn't we? We just kept on running. We were like, okay, let's run as far. And then I thought of an idea like, okay, Mum, let's just change our clothes real quick. Like just our top half. Let's just change our top half, because all they've seen is a red jacket. They might not be looking for that anywhere else. So we've changed clothes under somewhere. And again, I was terrified.
Petrified and terrified.
It's a new word. Yeah. You look it up. Terrified. So I've walked off again.
Nando's, terrified.
It's not far off.
So I've walked off again because I was scared. My mum's still packing a bag. And I think it's that way we were like, okay, let's take our money out now.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But he's missed out a little gem there, that when we changed our clothes and was shoving everything in the bag, I actually didn't zip my bag up properly.
I was letting you own up to that one.
Oh, thank you. I thought you was going to throw me on the bus, so I thought I'd take the dairy out of it and say it myself. I didn't zip my bag up properly, and as such, when we were running, I was running for about 2 miles with my bra hanging out the back of the bag.
I've got, Mom,
your bra! And it was bright red as well. Do you know what I mean? So if you ever want to get caught by I'm surprised the helicopters weren't cocking out. In Leicester Square, there's a red bra hanging out of the bag. It was just hanging out of my bag, and I was running like this for probably about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But what was kind of awful about all of that, the bra, get over it. It was the fact that once we headed straight to north, didn't we? Yeah. So we jumped in a taxi.
Underneath a tunnel,
which is how we lost them.
Yeah.
Headed north towards Islington.
Not Scunthorpe.
Towards Islington. And when we got out, we got in another taxi. And when I was searching my bag, I realised that I'd dropped our pad that had all our contacts in.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit. I was so...
He was angry.
I was angry because it was like, you've been put into this crazy environment and the one thing that you can only rely on is gone from you. So now we're just like, well, what do we do now? Mum had mansions in there, people that had boats, like really good ones. In my mind as well, I know it's London, but you're thinking, well, what if the hunters get the pads? Like, once if they know this, once they know that. But yeah, that was...
He wasn't happy, put it that way. Long and short of it, yeah. I was like, all right, calm it down. I get it. I've made a mistake. Relax. He wasn't happy.
Was it a complete loss, or did someone from production like find it and pick it up?
No,
just completely gone. So phone numbers and anything could have been in there and everything.
Everything.
Did you have, after the show was finished, then did you have to then have a mental think of what you wrote in that notebook and then ring those people and go, if you've had any strange calls from like random people or whatever, I sort of wrote your number down and maybe lost it in the middle of London.
I'm going to be honest with you, Chris, that's a really good thought because I didn't think about that once. So I'm going to apologise to anyone if they did get any strange calls, because it was me. I dropped your personal details in the middle of London, so my apologies.
My addresses as well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that point, actually.
Yeah. This is the bit that I hate doing. This is the socially awkward bit, which I hate doing. If we apologise to the two people, all the people for saying I've dropped your number, you know where this is going, don't you?
No.
No?
No.
You've got to be listening and clear enough. You called me Chris twice.
I'm so sorry. Do you know what? That's what you get. Yeah. That's what you get. That's karma. What goes around comes around. And that wasn't even planned. My apologies.
Look, I knew the coffee was shit, but there's no need for that.
No, that's for the Sadie comment, clearly, yeah.
I mean, you've not clocked it over my head yet.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well done. But do you know what? I could tell sometimes when you go, Cameron and Sade. And I'll be like, I appreciate it. That's the thing. I absolutely appreciate it. So,
I've been called a lot worse in my time.
Yeah, that's true. My apologies.
It's fine. And I just, that whole sort of thing is because it's written that I come from a radio background, so we'd write things down phonetically, and then we're like, oh my God. So that's why it's up there like that.
No, I appreciate the effort.
I know.
I just try and get out of saying difficult names in my job.
Yeah, it sometimes gets like that. I mean, we've seen, I don't know if you've seen, but I've seen on some of the comments, there's things like, I've been called Chantal.
Yeah.
There's lots of different variations of my name, so But
you're right, though, it is karma. And I'm going to very quickly move it back to the show so people, so we both alleviate that awkwardness. So you've sort of lost that notebook. In actual fact, now in hindsight, 2 years on, do you feel like losing that notebook was actually the best thing which could have happened to you?
Yeah, this is the thing. I held that over my mum's head for a while whilst we were on the run. I was like, Mum!
I could tell.
Yeah, I held it over her head a lot. But actually looking back at it now, that was our blessing in disguise, because we kind of we didn't really have a strategy, but we were just very crazy with it. Like, you couldn't really pinpoint what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, where we were going to go. But with that notepad, we would have been like, okay, we're travelling this way, or we're travelling that way, we're travelling there. So I feel like, well done. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Yeah, it worked out completely because, and like I say, it kind of threw our whole game off. So what we initially had planned was we were going to go to Scotland, and we had like a great mansion in Scotland. We had Southampton, we had boats and helipads in Southampton. We had some really fantastic things, but it kind of put us in a position where we were just we humbled us really quickly. We're like, okay.
Do you know what? Actually, thinking about that now, that whole thing. First and foremost, why does everyone want to go to fucking Scotland or like every year?
I actually don't. But it was just a place where we thought you'd be able to hide.
It's because it's the third
Yeah, it's the furthest you can go, isn't it?
No one has ever actually started off in Scotland.
Correct.
So like, and you're always normally like down south.
Yeah, you
so
always
it's
go
like the
up to come down,
the furthest point away probably from where you're going to start. So you sort of think, if I get up there, then I've got a bit of time to get up there before the hunters then get up there for me to then get down again.
Absolutely, and logic would say that if you're in Scotland and they've only got 4 lots of ground hunters, they're not going to be sending ample amount of ground hunters that far up because the chances are that everybody else is back this way and it takes so long to get back. So that's the logic I think most people think behind it is chances are you're not going to have too many hunters up that way and that wanting to stay up that way because they're not going to be able to track everybody else.
Exactly. I mean, we're a little bit nerdy when it comes now because of the podcast when it comes to sort of like putting the hunter teams together. There will be more that we don't see on screen because it's obviously all about the cut and the edit and things like that. And like you can only show X amount of team. But on paper to anybody sort of like, you know, looking at the show and sort of trying to figure it out, there's only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 hunters that are sort of out there. 12 hunters to then, you know, a similar amount of fugitives covering all that ground. And then when you factor in things like this is a TV production, so actually they can't work every single day. They've got to have rest days and things like that. So that then maybe takes 3 or 4 pairs out of the game. That then weighs in your favour a little bit. But again, we don't see the other ones. There will be other hunters that we don't see. It's only if something happens that then we would see them.
Correct.
And then sometimes it gets to like even if they're only in it for like a split second, they'll get referred to as ghost hunters or things like that. We had it in a couple of series ago when can't remember who it was got captured by very similar to when JP pulled up at the side of the road. They were picked up at the side of the road and driven to the garage by a ghost hunter.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it the best friends?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Friends, yeah. They did tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And there was also the ghost hunter with was it with the mum and son, wasn't it? They got picked up, didn't they? By another hunter and driven. Yeah.
Big love Shazza's taxi. But again, you just don't, sometimes because of the nature of it. And then with that one last year as well, yours, they filmed Celeb pretty much straight after it finished. Correct. So then you've got to try and you're not looking at 3 weeks, you're looking at essentially 5 weeks off work, and it's a big commitment, huge commitment. Huge. How did you manage with that then? Because obviously, like we said at the very start of the show, it was a very quick turnaround from application going in to actually getting accepted from the show. And I think we're okay in saying that you actually weren't on the original list of fugitives to go on, which gives you considerably less time.
Correct. Yeah.
How do you then go about, right, I've got someone to look after my business, I need to get time off work. I wouldn't have enough holidays to do it. I would. Some employers would be like, well, you either leave your job or you don't go.
Absolutely. I think, so for me, I'm fortunate to have 3 amazing business partners that when I told them, they were like, Sade, just go. And they just picked everything up for me. Jack, Simeon and James, thank you very much. They picked everything up for me and just took over my elements of the business. And I know for Cam, I started
the job the week of filming started. So I just went into the shop. I was like, hi, don't want to be difficult, but I've got a TV show that I'm going to film. My manager was like, okay, just win. I was like, okay, thank you. So like, the job will still be here when you get back. Like, just win. And I was like, oh, okay, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like, you know, when you work yourself up for something and then the outcome just isn't as serious as it was. But
it was quite lucky.
Chill.
So it was all meant to be, wasn't it? Yeah.
How did you feel? Let's touch upon that reserve list for a minute. How did you feel when you got the call saying, guys, we really liked your audition, but unfortunately we had like a mother and son last year. We want to go in a different direction. Because at that point, they'd have been thinking that this would have gone quite out quite quickly as well, and that there'd have been very limited space between that one finishing and you guys going on. How did you feel when you initially got that call to say, yeah, we like you, but we don't like you enough?
Yeah, I mean,
I was... Because you know when you make it so far through the rounds and it's kind of like, okay, it went from me being like, oh, this isn't really going to happen, we're not going to make it, to, oh, okay, we're getting closer. Oh, there's another round. Oh, they're getting closer. Oh, and then it's kind of like, oh, wow, we've gone so far and just didn't get it. I was like, oh, that was such a wicked opportunity.
Yeah, I was a little bit different. I was kind of just like, right, okay. Because I'm pretty... What's meant to be will be. That's how I live life. That's how I kind of approach everything. So if it's supposed to be, it will happen. If it doesn't, it wasn't for you. So I was kind of pretty easygoing. yeah, obviously they came back and changed their mind.
We're so glad that you did, because it ended up sort of being that thing of just sort of getting on, and you've then gone on to win it, which is, I think, might be wrong, but I'm sure someone that we've interviewed before, a fugitive, has said a similar thing. It might have even been Kibble, because I think I can't remember whether she was due to go on it with someone else, and she said that initially, I think she said something like, if I'd have gone on with someone else, I don't think I'd have won. So it's very interesting how those little things slot into place. So you've managed to make it out of London, you've managed to make it where you are, and we don't really see you until sort of like episode 4 properly. But I've written down a few bits from episodes 2 and 3 which we should touch upon a little bit. The first one is, we all love Ray. Ray obviously says lots of different sayings and comes up with a lovely liner. And one of them for you two was more irritating than piles on a bike ride. What? Obviously, you didn't know any of that until literally like 6 weeks ago when you started watching it. Watching it back and hearing what HQ have got to say about you and your relationships, how does that make you feel?
I think, to be fair, one of our main things which wasn't kind of really pushed is, and we kind of said this in a lot of our kind of pre-recorded interviews and things like that, is our main thing was to win. But secondly, we wanted to piss the hunters off. Like, that was our main goal. We wanted to make sure that we could really wind them up, can just get under the skin. So watching it back and seeing that we actually did, we loved it, Ray. We thought those comments, we was like, yeah.
Do you know what's so funny? Because that was on the trailer as well when he said that. And I was like, oh, who's he saying that about? And then when it's about us, I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks. But yeah, hearing what the hunters got to say about our relationship, it was nothing but nice, sweet things.
I got a bit of stick.
No, about our relationship.
Oh,
you got a lot of stick.
Yeah, let's not.
About our relationship, it was just nice, sweet things.
It was,
I was just
lovely.
I'm glad that I've only seen like CCTV footage of us or just decoding what they think our relationship's like. But it's nice to see other people's perspective of our relationship, because I wouldn't say we have a typical mother and son dynamic, would you?
Possibly not.
No, I wouldn't. Staring in my face.
No, listen, I'm really engaged in what you're saying. I'm invested here. Yeah, no, I agree. I think some of from, the evaluation, I think they got quite bang on really in regards to our dynamics. I think we have got a very different relationship when it comes to mother and son, because of the fact that I had Cameron when I was 17 and we kind of grew up together, and so our dynamics are very much probably not the average parenting, but so yeah, they got it bang on. They did, definitely.
Apart from my mum being slow and dragging the team down,
I swear to God, no, you didn't. None of us did. I swear.
If it was one though, I think they just assumed it was you.
Well, it's because you're fast. That's ultimately. It makes complete sense. We get it because you are so fast.
But the thing is, you're fast as well. You are fast,
but not in comparison to you. And that's the point. So I'm always going to be the one that's going to look like I'm going to hold the team back. But you was wrong.
That dynamic, it's clear to see. Obviously, we've spent a good hour or so with you guys now in your company. It's been fantastic so far. Like we said when we sort of first met on the doorstep, it feels like we've known you because you're on TV and we've been chatting on Instagram or whatever. And it is really, really interesting. And I think we see it as the episode goes on, because it feels less mother-son, more like siblings or best mates. And there's a big childish element in there as well, like the sleeping bag races. Yes.
Yeah.
We love it. Do you know, it's quite funny because it's not to get too sentimental, but you'll kind of stand with this. When Cameron was younger and raising him, I was quite strict. I was quite a strict mum, and I think a lot of that is down to his discipline with his kind of athletics and things like that. I didn't let up really. I was very focused on making sure that he stayed on track, excuse the pun, but stayed on track and did achieve the things that he wanted to achieve. So I was quite tough. So I think as Cameron got older, I then allowed us to be able to kind of me soften up and come out of that kind of authoritative mum role, which I can fall into very quickly, and tried to lean into a little bit more of a friendship. And I think from that, for me, it's only blossomed a more mutual respect, and it allows us to kind of have more of a friendship now as opposed to that mother and son dynamic. So
I think that this is probably the experience of doing hunted and sort of going rural and on the run together as well. That's only going to have tightened that, right?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%.
absolutely.
Because we'll have to sit through the awkwardness. If we have an argument at home, we will go our separate ways. Mum will chill in the living room, I'll chill in my bedroom. If we get into an argument, when we did get into an argument on the run, we had to sit in that awkwardness and be like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? Like, I remember there was one time we got into an argument and then just both looked at each other and started laughing. We're just like, what is this about?
Because you've got to prioritise at that point. Is the argument really worth it at this point? We're both starving. We need somewhere to sleep. Let's channel it somewhere else.
Yeah, eat another custard cream, go and buy an ice cream, and that's it. Or find some swings. Push me, mummy, push me.
I'd still say that now, 21 years of age.
Genuinely would, yeah. And it's quite funny, really, as well, because you see that. So that kind of that scene in the field where Cameron started to do the countdown. That's almost like the signature for our dynamic. We are very competitive as individuals and together. Very, very competitive. I was the mum. I never let him win as a child, and he'd be crying like. And my mum
Just Dance, I'd be breaking a sweat, and my mum has 5 stars. Yeah. And I'm like, Mum, please.
And my mum would constantly be like, Sade, just let him win. And I'm like, no, because that's how you produce losers. So I was that mum, and we've had that competitive dynamic all the way through. So those things there, and it always makes us chuckle when he did that countdown. And he said, "Go on, mum," and he sort of counted down 10, 9. He knew I was going to run. He knew I was going to run because I wouldn't be able to not to. Even though I knew I wouldn't be able to beat him. And it was just that he just stayed dead calm. And I was like, I am not running. And he's like, 4.
Like literally at 1, you were like you were still, no, 1.
I don't know why you decided at 1.
Because in my mind, I was like, this is really childish and I'm not entertaining it. But the competitiveness was like, go, you go.
I think the key question, which I'm sure we've had come into our inbox quite a lot, Cam, as well, is has your snake score improved?
Do you know what? I haven't actually plugged in my phone to charge it. I've not looked at that burner phone since because it just gives me...
It's under the TV, isn't it?
Is it?
TV stand, yeah.
It just gives me too much PTSD, like just all of it. My snake score was awful though. It was actually awful, but it kept me going. That's what kept me going. Snake.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
I'm like, what's Cam doing? He's in the tent.
Well, you knew what he was doing because all you heard, beep, 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 beep. There'll be nights where he's laying there, beep, beep, and I was like, turn the phone off, please. I could just hear him beeping. Beep, 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 beep.
The thing is, though, you can't run down that battery even playing like 24-hour Snake.
I charged it the first day and it lasted
the whole
throughout.
It's crazy.
The good old days, Cam. You won't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It was all good.
Yeah, Nokia 3310. Snake 2, genius. To be fair, like, I want to thank you for bringing up Snake on national TV because kids nowadays have no idea about the joys that Snake brings. No. And even now, it is still on both of our phones. We downloaded an app, it's still on both of our phones.
What's your scores?
Well, this is where we,
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it, guys.
Can we find out our scores?
Yeah, you got to basically crash. You got to crash your game. So I'll just die. And then...
Oh, no, you go there.
I can't die. No, I can't die. No. Go play now. I'm playing now. Okay. Busy now.
Mine is 346.
Okay, that's good.
Pretty decent. That's good. Very decent. Yeah.
What was mine?
Just
152. No, I'm playing.
He's actually playing. He's actually playing.
Oh, wait, that one.
Yeah, that one. There you go.
595.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Sarah Kibble, mentioned for her, she was playing it on a road trip that she went on and she got like 900s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to charge that phone.
Yeah. You don't need to though because you got an iPhone, right?
Yeah. Do you know what? I like the feel of that. I think because I did it on the run, I'm so used to it.
No, but seriously, right, give it a try because, it's exactly the same. Give it a try. It's exactly the same. We're just going to leave him there playing Snake.
Yeah, go on.
You know what I find funny though about this whole dynamic about like the childishness as well. 32, very short-lived. Didn't even finish the question. Let's not go there. I like the fact that you play up to it as well because not only do we have from Cam push me, mummy, push me. Then from you we get right. Let's go and get an ice lolly. I'll divulge.
Well, this is it. No, I think I am quite. I'm not quite. I'm very mature. As much as I've got to have my serious head on most days, and I've got to sit in meetings and do all the business stuff and all that. that's one side of me, but I am very childish,
very
and
together.
Together, and it gets ridiculous. My business partners, fun enough, was in a meeting yesterday, team meeting, and they said, "Sade, you're such." I'm known to be the wind-up merchant. I just sit there and I'll like make things worse by stirring the pot, and it's just my nature. I'm just very silly, so it works.
And then when I do it to you, you get
it annoys me. Yeah, absolutely does, because you go too far.
Yeah, it's fine when you're the one that's doing it, but when you're the one it's being done to, nah.
Do you know what it is? I can take it, but the thing is, because he knows me personally, he knows how to just either take it too far or just do some and I'm like, right, okay, we're done game over.
How quickly did your camera team have to adapt to that? Because obviously everyone knows that it's more than just one person.
Yeah.
Anyone that thinks that it's just one person carrying a camera around, stop being a dipshit. It really isn't. There's a team of at least four. That's 5 generally, 4 or 5,
because
you've got follow car as well, haven't you?
In total. So 5 including. It's because we feel like we're a family
6
now.
including it.
No, because there was 3. Oh no, yeah, 6. You're right. Yeah. So there was.
Why did you keep on trying to correct me?
I don't know. I thought I was right. There was obviously us 2, and then you've got your director, the embedded one that stays with you 24/7. Then you have your follow team, and that has the driver. Your second director. So if you do split, that's why there's a second camera person. Yeah. And then your, I don't know what you call it. What would it?
You'd be a runner.
CCTV.
The runner. Emily person. Yeah. So whatever Emily was, but yeah.
How you get the CCTV? That's basically like the follow crew.
Basically a runner.
Yeah. Runner. Yeah. You said that multiple times and was like, no.
No, it's a runner. Yeah. But yeah, and how did they then adapt to your dynamic? Because obviously they're going on the run with you, not to the same level, it has to be said, because obviously a lot of them have got the follow car. They're off. Some of them are obviously spending nights in hotels to get the footage off and to go and to basically do the running and things like that. They can have food whenever they want, which must completely piss you off. But you have got the one who's embedded with you all the time. How does that relationship and dynamic have to sort of form? Because not only are you jumping out at Eros statue and going on the run as fugitives for God knows how many days, you're also having to form relationships with new people who you've never met before. And for you especially, Cameron, given what we saw on the show with the anxiety and things like that, that must have been another level of stress on top of what you're already doing.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, we did kind of gel quite quick, but also I had my mum there to kind of push the talk in for. Like, my mum would talk. I remember the first time we met our cameraman, I was very quiet, I wasn't really saying much. And then after like the first day where everything was just stressed and chaotic, I think we probably said a little joke and I was like, this is funny. And when you're with someone so long, your personalities just merge together, and I think once they've
kind of been in the very close vicinity to you having a poo in a bush, at that point, really, do we need to be uncomfortable at this point? No, to be fair, we had a brilliant team, and I think Sam, Tamsin, and Emily were Peter, were brilliant, really, really brilliant, and actually, it becomes a little bit of a family. I think that. They definitely had a soft spot for Cam. Definitely did. And like I say, they're so limited to what they can do and information they can give you and that sort of thing. But you could tell they kind of really warmed to Cameron, and they were amazing. They were amazing. They were brilliant.
It's quite funny you mentioned there about people warming to Cameron. We saw a little bit of a clip of it. We mentioned it on the podcast a few weeks ago when you were, I reckon there must have been uni students who sort of helped you out. You could see them flirting a little bit and you were like, no, hands off my boy.
Just like, back off. All right? We need to keep focused. I couldn't have his head going off in different ways. We were trying to get to the end.
To be fair, they did help.
They were brilliant.
So
they were
much,
fantastic.
They helped us so much. That was the best sleep I would say we had. Because they gave us a duvet to put under our tent so we could sleep on that. I think that's the first duvet we had in ages.
Do you know, and again, just to kind of give them a shout out because they were fantastic. So when Cam actually went in and secured that accommodation for us, well done. They took us into the cafe, they gave us food, they stocked us up for the night with food.
Gave us vapes.
And they were brilliant. And
that's how we got the getaway driver.
Yeah, they sorted out the getaway driver for it. They were fantastic.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And we're going to delve more into him in the next little bit because he played a significant
He absolutely did. Yes, Luke.
Did you, when you were sort of, obviously, you sort of see that back and all that attention, were you sort of, did you need your mum to then sort of get you refocused? Because I'm like for me, if I'd have been like a young single guy and, you know, I can't say it because she's there.
Go ahead. Say whatever you need to say.
Two good-looking girls were flirting. Like, my attention would go as a single person. As a single person.
Yeah, of course.
I get away with that, guys, yeah? If you want to co-host the Haunted Pod, get in contact. No, I'm saying with you. I'm saying you're replacing me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, you've got to check it.
That's fine. That can work.
Do you know what's funny? I'm the exact same with my mum. So if the roles were reversed, I'm like, what's going on here? What's all it? So it's like, I thought it was funny because it was just like, if the roles were reversed, I would have done the exact same.
And to be fair, they took it. We all were laughing about it after. They took it in the way that it was intended.
Which was literally back.
You know what I mean. This sort of
how Wolverine's claws come out.
Oh, brilliant! Well, guys, we've got so much more to talk about. We've got obviously to talk about all those the final episode. We've not actually delved into anything you really did yet in terms of what we see on screen because we're only at sort of the episode 4 point. We are going to take a break. We're going to restock the coffee, restock the water, delve into the biscuits, change the batteries on the cameras, all of that sort of stuff that you don't see off screen. But also, these two will know all about. How many times did you have to wear a GoPro? Did you have to wear one much? Or?
You didn't have to wear it that often.
I think twice, if I can recall.
No, I had to wear it when
decoy.
I scaled the roof.
3 times.
Whoa,
yeah.
Scaled the roof?
Yeah.
There's a story there.
Yeah.
We can't end without hearing that.
Yeah, so... Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened on the run. Just if it happened on the run, you can say it. It's just... It can't be a secret about like how the show's filmed or the process.
Okay.
So if you did it, you did it.
Okay, cool. So basically what's happened is we've gone back to Nottingham.
From Peterborough.
Which also is closer to Scunthorpe than is...
I'm working, I need a map. I'm pointing things out.
I feel bad, but I'm rinsing the fuck out of that joke.
But yeah, we've gone back to Nottingham from Peterborough, and we were like, we need money. That's the only reason we went back. We were like, we need money. I remember my dad saying before he went on, he was like, I'm going to put money aside for you. I'm going to put it in the garage or something like that. So we've rocked up at his house, knocking on the door. Door's not open. I'm like, oh, they've got to be in. Knocking on the door again, door's not open. I'm like, and then I'm stressing now. We're like, okay, we're in Nottingham. Oh, they're closed, so they're not.
Yeah.
Knock on the door, not there. And then there's a little alleyway. So I was like, oh, here's his back garden. And then there was just miraculously a ladder just there. So I just thought, well, why not? So I put up the ladder. And then once I started doing it, I was like, Mom, I'm actually scared. I don't know why I started doing it.
He got to the top, he's like...
I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
You know when he was a kid and he climbed a climbing frame for the first time, and then instead of sort of like enjoying it, sort of you stop, you look around and go...
Yeah. That was
what it is. As a child, I was reckless. I would jump off the sofa, do backflips. Yeah. So the older I get, I've been more like, I cannot do this. So I've climbed up and I've got onto the roof, and I'm just stood there, and I'm just like, and it's the plating of the roof. I thought it was going to slip, so I was like,
Cameron, you're going to have to make a decision one way or another. Come on.
And I was like, either way, I've got to jump down, regardless. I was like, okay. So I've jumped down, gone in, got the money. And then I've been like, let me just try this gate. The gate was open the whole time. The gate was open the whole time. So
literally, all they had to do was walk in, just grab the money out of the garage and go.
It's like those memes you see, like a farmer's field where there's literally a gate and then there's literally nothing. And people go, well, I can't get through there. It's a closed gate.
Yeah, absolutely. That was exactly it.
Tunnel vision. I love it. I really wish they'd shown that.
Yeah. There's quite a few bits really that were,
Well, we will delve into them. Guys, it's been great to speak to you so far. You guys listen at home, you're going to have to wait a whole another week to listen to this. But we're going to wait about 10 minutes. So there you go. Sade, Cameron, thanks so much for visiting us at Haunted Pod HQ. We're going to stick the kettle on and we'll have another part with you as we talk all things from extraction, captures, sorry, Cameron, and also... if they touch my PlayStation, I'm going to be fuming. And we'll also talk ice creams as well. Lots more to come, so don't go anywhere. And send us all your comments and all your thoughts and everything like that during the week. And this is how you do it.
Twitter at 100pod, Instagram at 100pod, Facebook 100pod, email 100pod@outlook.com, or send voice notes and WhatsApp messages to 07907 038 211.
There you go. And we'll see you at the same time next week. We can't say our finishing line because... for us, it's not over yet. No. So you've not yet been hunted, but we're fucking coming for you.
try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. And when they try the chains, you can say no, free me.